I was looking for a part-time graphic designing job since freelancing was not paying enough. Job hunting was pretty hard since there were so many applicants, and after a lot of back and forth, I ended up being accepted for a 3-month internship. The internship had a 3-week probation period, which oddly had substantially lower pay rate compared to the post-probation period. Regardless, I started working, and in the orientation meeting, first red flag appeared when we were given our first task, which was essentially marketing work. Our team consisted of 10 members, and each one was provided with the task that should have been done by their marketing teams. My task was to look up and compile SEO keywords related to the beverages the company was selling. This went on for 2 days as there was too much data to compile. By the end of this, already 5 members had quit. That should have been my first clue, but boy was I naive. I continued to work and received my first designing task, which was to come up with a mock-up for one of their beverage. I had worked with mock-ups in past, so I made something exceptionally well, and after the remaining 5 of us submitted our work, in evening other 2 members were removed from the group. Turned out this mock-up was a test to find out our caliber and if we brought anything good to the table. I found this ridiculous since they could have done this during the interviews, and now, the team of 10 was cut to 3, and then we received our second task, actual designing task. This is where shit started to hit the fan. The details of this task was that we had to make 3 social media posts for every day of the week, and what hashtags they will be using for each post, and that was pretty much it. No style guide. No descriptions of what they were expecting to see. Color schemes. We were to just freeball it just based on the hashtags alone. And that's exactly what we did. We made what we felt was fitting for the hashtags we were provided and sent over our work. Next morning, all 3 of us were pulled in a meeting by the manager where he chewed us out and berated us for straight 15 minutes, rambling on and on about how our work was not up to standard and their expectations. Another team member got so fed up that she quit right then and there. After that, the manager calmed down and told the remaining 2 of us the goals we were expected to fulfill every day, which was to make at least 30 images to post on the company's social media handles from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then in the remaining 1 hour make the changes in the images as pointed by the manager. The changes could be minor or completely remaking the images from scratch, and we were expected to also do overtime to fulfill these goals, which would not be compensated. I was ready to quit right then and there, but decided to hold that off. After the meeting I went back and reread my contract, and this time that 3-week probation period stuck out like a sore thumb to me, and everything clicked in place. They wanted us to work like mad dogs every day, so that each of us would be outputting about 630 images in those 3 weeks, setting the company up nicely for a long time. And then when the end of probation period would roll around, they would just fire us, paying only a fraction of amounts they would have to pay to a professional for way less work than what we were doing. This was a wild guess, but it was later confirmed by snooping around and chatting with some previous guys who worked there. I was furious and started planning how I would get back at them. In the meantime, I worked as best as I could, and after 2 days, the opportunity came running to me when my manager told me that the next day, I'd be working on designing posts for the upcoming product launch in 2 days. I started my plan by first convincing the other team member to quit as well. I showed him the proof, and he was immediately on board. Then I spent the rest of the day doing essentially nothing and just giving manager fake updates on the task. And then came the time of exporting and sharing the work with him. He was really excited, and I told him that the PC was slow as hell and was taking more time to export the files. Obvious lie, since my PC is pretty efficient. I then told my teammate to send in his message that he quit. The contract explicitly stated that an employer can fire any employee on immediate notice anytime, as well as an employee could also quit at immediate notice. After my teammate quit, I waited 15 minutes and sent in my quitting message as well. The manager was probably not reading anything because he didn't respond till 5. And after that, he went berserk, blasting my phone with messages and calls, requesting, pleading, threatening, everything he could think of. I just let him know that I was recording everything, and that shut him down quickly. I didn't get anything from him or the company after this, and I later found out that he was fired from the position later on, since HR was suspicious the amount of employees were quitting under him, and apparently my stunt made them believe something was going on, and it turned out that he was tampering with the employee contracts under him. The lower probation pay rate was never part of company policy, and he was just pocketing the rest of the money and taking all the fame for having the highest productivity rates. I have since stopped working as a graphic designer and only take freelance jobs from known peoples. I'm focusing more on my studies and instead tutor kids now. They can be a bit challenging sometimes, but I feel really happy passing on my knowledge to others. Started a graphic design internship with shady practices, low pay during probation, unrealistic workload. Caught on to their scheme, exploit us, and set us up for mass firing after probation. Planned a revenge by faking work and quitting abruptly with proof of their misconduct. The manager got fired later for contract tampering.